Even when the lines are crossed, you still have to prioritize what's most important.
Welcome to Impact and Fulfillment with Coach Mike D, where you'll gain practical wisdom and dynamic insight from amazing conversations to live your best life.
What's going on, y'all? This is Coach Mike D with another episode of Impact and Fulfillment. Hope y'all are having an amazing day. Just doing great things, doing fun things, doing impactful things, but also finding some fulfillment in the process. Today is a quick episode, and I wanted to talk about the lines being crossed. The lines being crossed. The thing that's so interesting about life is that in a lot of instances, we desire for things to be straightforward. We desire for things to be clear and clean and easy. We desire for things to be understood and, we have our marching orders and we can walk forward. Like, we desire for things to be straightforward and for the lines not to be crossed. It's interesting how we desire something that rarely happens. We desire something that rarely happens. And most often, there's a lot of different things going on at once, and we have to find a way to effectively, manage all these competing thoughts, these competing emotions, these competing agenda items, right? Because very rarely are things clear-cut, straightforward, and easy. More often, the lines get crossed. And I was thinking about it through the lens of emotions, right? I had something not too long ago that challenged me emotionally. It was a situation that caused me to be angry, yet extremely grateful at the same time. A lot of times you think about the fact that being angry, it causes you to, have a different type of reaction than that would be if you were grateful or thankful or, just really excited about something. But what if you have a situation in which the lines get crossed, in which you are angry, yet supremely grateful at the same time? And the thing is, to me, that experience that I had was probably more synonymous with normal life than other situations that are clear-cut, very straightforward, because the reality is our lives require us to be able to manage the lines being crossed all the time. The question is, how do you then prioritize the lines that are crossed? Because even when the lines are crossed, even when things are confusing, even when you have a range of emotions going on, you still have to prioritize what's most important. Even when the lines are crossed, you still have to prioritize what's most important. And ultimately, it's your job to, in your own framework or in your own way, to uncross the lines so that you can make sure that the main thing stays the main thing and we get done what we need to get done, even though the lines presented to us are crossed. We have to uncross them. And it's interesting because, again, it's like the concept of unpacking things, right? If we let things stay all jumbled up and bunched up, it's hard to really figure out what you're working with. But if we pause and we allow ourselves to uncross the lines, to unpack the laundry, to, unpack the drawer to see exactly what it is you're working with, you can then prioritize the things that were jumbled together, and we can take action in a way that is most favorable to the desired outcome. But again, the lines are going to be crossed. And I think we have to figure out ways to understand that our expectation of the lines not being crossed might be the kink in the chain that causes us to have challenges when lines come to us crossed, because our expectation then in essence fuels us to be mad about the lines being crossed versus being able to pause for a second, sit in the fact that this just don't make sense, and get yourself to a point in which you can unpack things and then effectively deal with them. But again, the lines are going to be crossed. Everything, relationships, your lines are going to be crossed. If at your work or your job or your business, the lines are going to get crossed. Dealing with your kids, the lines are going to get crossed. Your parents and school and all of that, the lines are going to get crossed. Your spouse, the lines are going to get crossed. But can we have enough patience in the lines being crossed to allow ourselves to sit in that, accept all of the emotions that are going on, but then allow ourselves to then unpack and uncross those lines? Because it's hard to deal with lines when they are crossed, right? But more often than not, they will be presented to you that way. It's up to us to do something with it. And so again, just like that situation this week really helped me to sit in it, because you preach the concept of emotional stability and mastering your emotions and dealing with your emotions, but every so often you're presented with something in which you have to be a practitioner of that thing that you personally are putting out there. You got to take a dose of your own medicine. And one of the things that I learned in that is that, yes, with crossed lines, with mixed emotions, I have to recognize them, right? But I also have to get to a point in which I can uncross or unpack that, because I can't effectively deal with the crossed lines. That's the message that I wanted to really convey to you all, is that yes, the lines are crossed, but it's hard to deal with the lines being crossed. You have to get yourself to a point in which you can uncross those lines so that you can prioritize the order in which you deal with things. Because the concept of multitasking and doing a lot of things at once, it's a lie. You're just jumping from task to task really fast, but you're never really multitasking. Your brain is focused on one thing at a time. You're just jumping from thing to thing. So that being said, if the lines are crossed and it's a big issue, if it's a situation that's needing your attention, you have to pause, give yourself time to sit in it, but then you have to uncross those lines so that you can deal with the issue at hand. Otherwise, those cross lines, oh yeah, it's going to cause a lot of issues. And again, I'm just speaking to it through the lens of what happened this past week. It was one of those situations where it's just like, yeah, man, you gotta practice what you preach, brother. And yeah, I had to put it into practice. So I hope this helps somebody today, man, because I know all of us are dealing with lines being crossed in multiple areas of our lives. And you're not alone. You're not alone. We're all dealing with it, no matter how we present. If you sit down long enough with somebody, they'll eventually let you know that, oh yeah, the lines are crossed over here in this segment of my life. And yeah, I just present well, right? But we're all dealing with something, and it's okay, right? You're built for this. You're built for this. You're built for this. And if you need help, seek help, right? There's nothing wrong with getting help. There's nothing wrong with unpacking, because sometimes there's situations in our lives in which the lines that are crossed, you're gonna need some help to uncross them, and that's okay too. That's not a sign that you're weak or you're damaged, dude. Listen, depending on the situation, it would be unwise to try to uncross them yourself, right? So seek professional help if need be, right? Sometimes it's just simply reaching out to a friend that'll let you talk or give you some feedback on how to approach things. But either way, you got to uncross those lines so you can effectively deal with the stuff that gets thrown at you. And yeah, That's pretty much the message for today. Well, hey, as always, make sure to follow Coach Mike D on social media. Grab a copy of my book, the latest one, The 33 Laws of Impact and Fulfillment. Some good stuff there to help you get some tools to learn to lead from within. Your peak performance guide to leading from within. And until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.
I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and follow Coach Mike D everywhere on social media. Y'all be blessed, well, and wise.